Folks! Boop! 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 Stargate, October 2025, fourth quarter, 2 years into the greatest bull market of cardboard in modern human history. The ridiculed Florida man builds the largest cardboard empire in modern history. Cardboard didn't go to zero. Temperature 73 degrees. 2 Taco Bell party packs, 3 large waffle fries, 5 strips of bacon for breakfast, 2 inappropriate activity sessions, mostly in the morning. Video number 3821. Spider-Man collector boxes. We're about to break 1,000 collector boxes. Thank you for many of you all who've reached out on the other video. I am still buying Spider-Man collector boxes. If you would like to contact me, AlphainvestmentsLLC at gmail.com. I am paying between $400 and $420.69 per Spider-Man collector box, and I pay your shipping. Please only contact if you only have one box. Only if you have a larger quantity, minimum of 3 to 6 boxes or more. Current market price of Spider-Man collectors, October 2nd, 2025, $525 a collector box plus tax, singing about $550 to $570 shipped for most people in the open market. Public remains very confused. Internet remains very emotional. Cultural trends remain very polarizing. Hot topics remain political divide, anger. General consensus is end of the world, bear market, crash, and something negative is going to happen someday when the sun comes up. Year 10.4 on YouTube. And let's go. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Rudy. You're watching The Cardboard Life of Florida, one regular man's journey to defy the odds and walk through the valley of shadow of cardboard when everybody laughed and said it was impossible. Thousands of comments and videos and posts have been made. 10 years, 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days, 17 hours, 36 minutes, and 69 seconds later, one of the greatest bull market wealth appreciations in modern cardboard history has rippled through the world. The Spider-Man situation remains very fascinating and very playful for me. It's been a very long time since I've seen a situation where a box can have multiple cards in the hundreds and a Soulstone $2,000 card with a Soulstone super extremely rare card that apparently has sold for $10,000 to $12,000 at one sale, $18,000 for another sale apparently, and supposedly another sale for $25,000. I've never seen the market so negative on a product with that big of a lottery card. It's very unusual. It's very, very strange. You know, some interesting things I've been dwelling on was the last 24 hours. A couple patron messages said, Rudy, what do you think about the theory about this fake news going around about how Wizards did have the intentions to serialize the Soulstone? Because if you'll notice, the type of foiling and the type of overlay on the gold is the same style as the high-end one-of-one ring that was serialized. And apparently, there was a disagreement between Marvel and I guess some other licensing or contract. I don't know who owns Marvel. Is it Fanatics or Topps, or there was some other Marvel card series, and they told, and there was back and forth with Wizards regarding the serialization of this card. So they left it extremely rare, which apparently there's less than 100 copies is what the public is telling me. I cannot confirm that to be true because nobody knows unless Wizards makes a press release on that. But based on where we are post-release with Spider-Man, and based on the only a couple handful, less than 5 of these high-end Soul Stones have been publicly disclosed, found, or sold, that does line up to a similar range of something like the Chocobos out of 77 or out of 100 for certain Lord of the Ring cards. So it definitely does feel, because in the other video a few days to a week ago, depending when you watch this, the conversation was about rumors of as low as 100 copies and as high as 500 copies. Based on what I'm seeing now, and the lack of price depreciation on this high-end Soul Stone that was supposed to be serialized, and the lack of additional copies coming to market, I am definitely leaning towards the conspiracy tinfoil left nut camp that there are less than 100 of these copies. Because 99% of people who open a Spider-Man collector box, if you pull a card that has a last sold copy of $10,000 to $30,000, 99% of people are going to sell that card. Okay? 99% of people, the majority of anyone who gets that card is going to hit a huge payday, and they're going to cash it in. That's a fact. Now, why are we not seeing that? Look how many Chocobos have been pulled. Where are all the $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 Soul Stones? Where are they? I don't understand. Even if it's out of 500, the print run was 20 to 30% less than Final Fantasy. If there were 500 Soul Stones, we would at this point in time easily see 20 to 50 of these, which would be 10% on the market. Easily. The fact remains, every day, week, month that ticks by on the clock, and we do not get more Soul Stones coming to market, the price of a collector box becomes more desirable to me. Now, pause right there. Understand, everybody, what you see online, on YouTube, on all the social media platforms, does not reflect the majority of the attitudes towards the product. That is one of the biggest fallacies of modern society. We all, including me, must be careful making assumptions on looking at our tiny little supercomputer, sex toy, cell phone, whatever we're going to call them now. I mean, isn't 55% of the internet just pornography anyways? I mean, oh wait, I can't say that word? Whatever, who gives a shit? You know, am I going to lose a sponsor? Do I have sponsors? Who the fuck cares? So, what I don't understand is what is truly going to happen. How I am having the most difficult time trying to calculate and understand the Spider-Man situation. We have some Spider-Man single cards going up in price. We have some flattening, and we have a lot of things drifting lower as more come to market, as people crack boxes, flip singles, try to rinse and repeat. I am having a very hard time understanding what's going to happen with this product. It's been a while since something intrigued me this much and made me this fascinated with a product. It really has. You know, when I saw SVO, I don't know if that was 2 or 3. When SVO2 with Pokemon came out, and I used to joke with all of you guys, and I invented the term Mr. P for SVO2 in the Pokemon set, I knew it was a really good product, and hence why I have so much of it. And I knew the market would eventually leave the bear market at the beginning of SVO 1, 2, 3, 4. With Spider-Man, I don't know. I knew holding on to a bunch of Wildsville Drain collector boxes long term would be not a big deal. I knew I know it's going to sound cliche and cheesy and shitty and weird stuff, but I believe in the product. As much as old man Rudy misses vintage magic, the era of that art, that culture, that style, it takes a better person to understand whether you agree or disagree with something. We need to understand where we are and where we're headed. And for the life of me, I cannot grasp the internet's attitude of Spider-Man should be $200 to $300 a box. Don't buy it. In the absolute pitchfork torch mob preaching online, begging for the collapse to get worse and more and more and more. And I just don't see it. I waited a couple days to make this video, or at least to publish this video, because I've been watching and waiting for price stability. I've been waiting to see if Spider-Man collectors would go to the 400s. I am waiting. And no, I don't mean a random store puts one box. I don't mean a random Amazon post pops up and disappears within 2 minutes and half the people can't check out. I'm talking where I can go on eBay and TCG Player. And if I want to buy 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 boxes, can I buy them for 400, for 450, for 480? Will the market do that? And right now, boy, the market is in a major tug of war. Because you're definitely seeing a lot of buyers supporting the market, but you still see people unloading everywhere. The negativity towards the product remains very potent. So, this is where I'm going to pause the video and give you guys a Rudy life ramble lesson. There's certain things about life that as you're an old fart like me and you yell at the cars and yell at the clouds, and I yell at the gluten and I yell at every waffle fry that enters inside one of my holes, my orifices. Whew, that was a weird left exit. The funny thing about all this stuff, folks, is the culture and attitude will always change. When I analyze and I look at everything, for the longest time, the culture around collector boxes was always a certain way. When Lost Caverns of Ixalan collectors came out, again, these were still deemed rip-off, scam-like Wizards Hasbro products that social media would rail against you. If you go online right now and you post anything to do with collecting or investing, a Pokemon product or a Magic Collector Box product, if you leave the YouTube channel of Beta's Rudy's Investments, most platforms will attack you in a negative light. They will call you Scalper Scanner 6000 from Rudy's Basement. They will not be welcoming, or they will not be open to, hey, great collection, good job, hey, good collection. Anything, we're in the current culture where the cool and correct and the conforming thing to do is to bash anyone collecting, investing, scalping, flipping, single cards, graded cards, sealed product. You're supposed to maintain, I hate to say it, but you're almost supposed to stay in line. You're supposed to maintain a certain narrative based on where the market is. Now remember, it's not always like this. In the previous cycle where I was able to acquire most of the collector boxes and Pokemon and things, if you posted online and made videos on even my channel about collector boxes or Pokemon boxes, the majority of the internet would just kind of laugh at you and go, wow, this stupid person is so idiotically retarded, uneducated, the fool and their money are easily parted. The internet responded with ridicule of how dumb you are. But now, if you do the same thing, you're no longer dumb. You're part of the problem and you're an evil, terrible person. So what's funny is by doing the same behavioral patterns, as we move forward on our sliding timeline of life, sometimes other people just think you're an idiot. They think you're uneducated. You have mental problems. You're retarded. You're bad. You're evil. The market viewed you as that. Maybe he needs help. He's just not smart. Maybe there's something wrong with him. But if you do the same thing in this part of history, now you're deemed a very bad-hearted, evil, terrible, mean human. So I always find it intriguing that the same type of behavior is viewed differently in culture through society. And we've all witnessed this through Hollywood, politics, Democrats, liberals, Republicans, conservatives. We've seen it with the LGBT, all the different things going on with the bathrooms and genders and all these things. Each segment of life, these different topics are viewed differently by society. Some topics I have opinions on. Some topics I'm too stupid to understand what the hell's even going on. Today's hot topic? Well, we have a government shutdown. And apparently it's supposed to crash the card world and the stock market. I don't know what the stock market did today. I haven't checked, but I'm going to assume I haven't heard anything, so I don't think anything's crashed. And that's supposed to cause Bitcoin to crash and the stock market to crash. And I did see Bitcoin this morning, and I think Bitcoin crashed all the way down to 110,000. By the time you watch this video, Bitcoin's going to be below 100,000, or Bitcoin's going to be back over 120,000. It's going to be hitting new records. Because that's just what Bitcoin does. Doesn't make me smart or dumb or make you smart. It's just how certain things are in our lives. So this is a video where I just continue to analyze. I continue to do what my instinct says. And my instinct says the world's not coming to an end. And I know that makes many people unhappy. I'm sorry, but this isn't the great crash. I know that makes people unhappy. I'm sorry, folks, but the whole Pokemon thing, the show goes on. It continues. A lot of you guys have been asking me, and let me tell you what I have to do. Tomorrow or Friday, or whenever you watch this video. Friday, which if you watch this video the day I publish it, should be a Thursday. So if you watch this on Friday, so like this Friday, I'm going to sell a base set sale, where I'm going to take the new base set of ME1 of Mega Evolutions, and I'm going to take the previous base set of Scarlet Violet, and I'm going to offer patrons a tiny little 2-box option. I'll go online and add up the price of both, and if the price of both is $300 and $300, and that's $600 plus tax is $630, we'll take off $50 and we'll do, $575. If it's lower than that, we'll adjust to that. If it's higher than that, we'll do that. Some people will be happy. Some people will scream scalper. Some people will be angry. Some people will skip it. Everyone will have a different opinion. Some people tell me to F myself. Some people tell me to, kill and, Rudy should be killed and murdered, assassinated. Rudy's the problem in my life. And other people will be happy to finally get some boxes from a source that won't cancel their order and won't tamper with their box. So again, the response will be very different depending who you ask. And that's always going to remain the same. Now, I only have a couple hundred boxes of Mega Evolutions. I don't have thousands like I do previous sets, and I still don't even have the second wave of Mega Evolutions. I thought it'd be here by now. So I at least want to do a few things. And I know we're like a month or two away from Phantasmal, ME2. And of course, there's a lot of things going on with Prismatic Evolutions. Now people are making a comment, Rudy, Prismatic Evolutions is on a tear. It's not going down anymore. The fuck did you think it was going to do? You just thought because Pokemon companies said they were going to keep printing Prismatic Evolutions, you thought it was just going to tank? What did you think was going to happen? I don't understand what you're... Of course it's going to go up. Prismatic Evolutions isn't new anymore. It's multiple releases old. It's coming to the end of its life cycle. Do you guys think we're going to be sitting here in Christmas of 2026 having the new year in the 2027? And we're going to be talking about reprints of Prismatic? When Pokemon's going to have like 10 to 15 more releases between now and then? Rudy, you got to get rid of SVO2. They're going to have reprints. Bro, this is like 11 sets behind now. They can't even get ME1 shipped out. I don't even have all my release wave of ME1. And you've got these uneducated, gotta just bitch on the internet and be negative about how everything's terrible in the world Because everyone just has to live in a world of anger and hatred. And everyone's online, just negative, crash, reprint. Can we just sit back and respect how fucking amazing and beautiful the market is and the strength of Pokemon? And can we give Pokemon credit that they're making products and cards that people think are so beautiful and so enjoyable that everybody wants to buy it? Can we actually just say, hey, well, Rudy, I don't want to spend $350 on a Mega Evolutions box. Then don't spend it! I guarantee you the 20 people behind you will. Why? Look at the cards. Once again, people gave me a hard time for calling ME1 a base set. But after that, everyone said, Rudy, you're dumb. And I am dumb on some things. I never said I was the smartest person in the world. I am a dude in Florida who bet my life on cardboard. I mean, that should be the first thing you should think of every time you watch this video. That's who you're listening to. And yeah, ME1 for the first set in the block, I won't say base set, according to you all, it is one of the best first sets in a block in Pokemon history. I have had hundreds of you all continue to tell me that. Yeah, because so people like the product, the price is high. People are upset with Spider-Man, the price is dropping. The internet continues to rage and tell it's a toxic, bad, this, that, there's no value. Oh, Rudy, have you heard the average expected value of a Spider-Man collector box is as low as like $200 and maybe as high as $300-$400 if you're lucky on average? Okay. So, isn't that normal? I've always been fascinated why and how the market assigns labels to boxes of cards. I've always been fascinated that certain boxes and cards are viewed certain ways. And what's really difficult in this world is, just like the Spider-Man situation, the market's already made up its mind that the pre-order price of $1,000 was incorrect and the market's correcting and crashing down. The market's down almost 50% from the high of about a month ago on Spider-Man. Rest in pepperonis to those people who pre-ordered for over $1,000. But at the same time, even as we move forward, what's probably going to happen is the same thing that's probably going to happen with Lord of the Rings Holiday. And it's probably going to happen with Wilds of Eldraine. It's going to happen with Fallout, Doctor Who, and I'm not going to go through all the names. Ixalan. Even Aether Drift and Karlov Manor. Can you guys see Karlov? I don't know. You guys can't see that far back. Karlov is way back there. It's weird is that I've noticed certain things will happen too. Like, even when the price stops going down, and I assure you all, we are very close to the bottom of Spider-Man, if not there already. And I always used to tell people, when I was a licensed broker back in the day and I had a real job, and I used to have fancy hair slicked back and, I thought I was hot stuff. I used to tell people, Rudy, I don't want to buy the S&P right now. I can't do it. I can't do it. S&P is down 10% from the all-time high, and I can't do it. And I remember making comments to people saying, do you think the market is closer to the top or the bottom? And whenever you say certain lines, it always makes people kind of does a reset. And I will say the same thing to you all. If Pokemon Scarlet Violet SVO2, also known as Rudy's Mr. P, is a $500 booster box, do you think $500 is the top? Or do you think that's more towards the bottom that we'll ever see that price? What is more likely? And if you look at things and you ask yourself and view things with a different lens on, it makes it a little easier to make decisions. You come to more clear conclusions a lot easier. Well, Rudy, that used to be a $100 box. Okay, well, back in the day, your stepmom really didn't charge you much, and now she's pretty expensive. I can't compare things from the past. I can't talk about NVIDIA or Apple stock from 5 years, 10 years, 20 years ago because it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter because what's going on today doesn't care about 20 years ago. So why are you comparing your decision today to something that doesn't exist from 20 years ago? If I see a $500 SVO2 box and it's like, should I buy that? I mean, well, it depends. Are you going to be stupid? Do you have the money? Are you going to be in debt? Which, back to being stupid. Are you going to actually safely hold it? Are you going to wait 5 years? Are you going to buy it and next week freak out if it goes to $4.99 from $500? Then yeah. But guess what? All that matters is today. And today, moving forward, is what calculations and things are based on. It's something, I had this hard lesson a long time ago on Wall Street when I had a real job and I thought it was really cool when I was young and even more dumb than I am today. When I was younger, I remember this one time, a long time ago. I don't even remember what stock it was. They were doing their quarterly earnings report or their annual report. I don't remember, some report was coming out of some stock. And they blew the numbers away. Most profit ever made. This was like 10 years ago, so whatever. Maybe it was an oil company or something. And the price per barrel of oil and gas and RBOB and nat gas was an all-time high. Maybe it was around that 07 range. And the oil company reported record profits. And the stock tanked. And little young Rudy's brain completely distorted into like a month-old French fry. Soggy, mushy. You could stick your finger in it, and you'd smell your finger and say, why am I not attracted to this? Weird things happened. And you know what I learned? This old person who worked with me at this firm, they looked over me and said, Rudy, what are you confused about? Why are you stupid? I said, I don't know. Please tell me why I'm stupid. And the old guy says, why are you excited about this profit that represents the past? The company just said that because of market conditions and high oil prices at $150 a barrel, that this is probably the most profit the company's ever going to make. That's one of the most negative, bearish things you can possibly say on Wall Street. And I said, but the company just reported record profit. Why is the company stock tanking? He said, because they said there's no future potential to do better. All that matters is the future. You, Rudy, are an afterglow and clapping yourself on the back and flicking your own testicle thinking, look how smart I am and look how amazing and look how good this company is. Nobody cares about the past. All that matters is the future. And that was like this nuclear level Rudy. God, I got so many weird stories. If you want more Rudy story times, we need to do more Rudy story times of young Rudy days. You guys seem to like that sometimes, but then the rest of you guys just do hashtag stepsisters and make fun of me, and I don't know if whatever's coming out, I'm the shill, but then whenever it tanks, I'm the scam artist, but then whenever it goes up, all the comments disappear. It's fucking weird. Are we in the Matrix? I didn't see any zeros or ones. Definitely very suspect. So that brings me to today. So we're going to end this video here, which means we're halfway through. SVO2 is $500 a box. Spider-Man is $550 a box, let's say, with tax. Erasing the previous $1,000 pre-order price, buying today at half the price from a high, or buying today at the all-time high is a very interesting brain teaser. Do you buy the product that's up 500% from 100? Or do you buy the product that's down 50% from 1,000? And the funny thing is, I see almost no, and I know this is a dangerous thing to say. This is probably going to curse myself. I see limited to no downside risk buying and averaging into additional inventory of Spider-Man collectors right now over the next 30, 60, 90 days. Let's look at the facts. Expensive lottery card that everyone's going to want to rip and ship forever. Number 2, recognizable brand. All kinds of random cards and little showcase and different full arts and borderless. Number 3, 30% lower print run than Final Fantasy. Number 4, The volatility was exaggerated by a last-minute second wave that distribution dumped on stores last minute that they didn't have pre-sold. Number 5, there's going to be more Marvel sets that are probably going to have interactions and synergy with the current one. Number 6, and probably the most important one of all, I don't think I would probably allow any box to go under 400, because if you sat me down and said, Rudy, how much Spider-Man collectors would you buy at 400 right now? I don't think I'd have a number. As much as you all, AlphainvestmentsLLC at gmail.com, PP, picks and prices. No giggities. Unless you're a hot stepsister. Then we'll make an exception. Maybe we'll discuss it. But the risk reward of now to infinity, the $500 box now, into the future timeline is really attractive. The probability teeter-totter, that curve of success, is really favorable. Buying a $500 out-of-print Pokemon box between now and to infinity, into the future, what is the probability that it goes back to 100 or to 200 or 300? And what is the probability that it goes to 1,000 plus? That is really fucking attractive. And that is the difference between more experienced and more in-depth conversation on how to look at these products. So based on these things, and based on me doing this for my entire adult life at this point, I think there will be a day when we evolve to the next market cycle. Because when we go back now, remember folks, 2023, well, who buys this crap? It's all garbage, overprinted, junk wax era. 24, 25, bull market, evil people, terrible people, everything's bad, scalpers destroying it, everything's being destroyed. No different on behavior from Rudy. But now, then level 3, what is that going to be? Do we go back to level 1, where it's back to being nobody wants this shit? Do we maintain level 2 for longer, of just everybody wants these beautiful new Pokemon or collector box stuff, and the show goes on? I mean, I have a hard time understanding that a lot of the people posting all of the extremely negative things truly believe that a Pokemon Mega Evolutions box, or a Pokemon Mega Evolutions box, should that box be 120, 150 MSRP-ness? Should it be 160 or 180 with tax from the Pokemon Center? Should the new Pokemon box be 180? Should the Spider-Man collector box, which is MSRP of 500 or something? Who knows? Should the Spider-Man collector box, should it be, how do you really gauge what the right and wrong thing is to do? You can't. So that's why we all go online and look for other opinions. But then you get to the heart of the whole video. How do you get other opinions when you can't trust all the other opinions? And most of the other opinions are stupid. How do you get other perspectives in this world? How do you learn and evolve and make better choices if we seek out other opinions, and all the opinions we seek out online, I don't want to say all, majority of the opinions we get online with feedback are below average, uneducated, stupid as shit Timmys, of which most people don't even buy the stuff, or maybe they don't even participate because they have so many other problems. They're just here to vent. How do you get good, clear data? And the answer to me is you can't. And this is why, even in this market, we continue or I continue to see tremendous opportunity. There's always opportunity out there. You cannot live a life based on fear of the next crash in real estate, in Bitcoin, in collectibles, in the S&P, in Rudy's hair, in the height of how high my balls sit. You cannot bet on those things because what's going to happen is already in the cards. It's in the cards, folks. What's meant to be is going to happen, and it won't happen any other way. This booster box of Mr. P is dented and smashed because I had so much of it and nobody wanted it that I threw it against the wall. Probably at like midnight or something when I was doing inventory and everybody was ridiculing Scarlet and Violet. Now I keep this box as a reminder that sometimes it takes those very dark moments to appreciate when you hit it big in life, to remind you of some of the sleepless nights that you went through to earn, deserve, and hold on when nobody else believes you.